final topic in section 3.4 is how to write an equation. For these problems, they're going to give you an ordered pair, and they're going to give you the slope. And we're going to use those two pieces to write an equation of the line. Now, how do we do that? Well, let's go over to our steps. Our first step says label the parts that are given, because I'm going to give you some type of slope and an ordered pair. I want you to tell me what the m, x, and y is. M is just the slope. Remember, it's just a number. And the x and y comes from that ordered pair that's given. Okay? Then, once I know what my m, x, and y are, I'm going to take my equation, that slope-intercept form, the only equation that we've been talking about for the last couple of topics, y equals mx plus b. What we're going to do is we're going to plug in the y, the m, and the x. We're going to solve for the variable b. Okay? So you're going to take that formula that we remembered, y equals mx plus b, and we're going to replace y with a set of parentheses to plug in, replace m with a set of parentheses to plug in, and then x, replace it with a set of parentheses to plug in. The letter b, just leave it as the variable b. Okay? For each of these, you're going to know the m, the x, and the y, not the b. Once you do that, then we're going to simplify. Remember, distribute to get rid of these parentheses, distribute, and solve for the letter b. Once you find b, then what we're going to do is we're going to use this formula one more time. But in this case, we're only going to plug in for the letter m and b. You have to keep y and x as variables. The reason why is because every equation of a line is always y's and x's, not m's and b's. So you're going to plug in the m and b. The m they give you in the beginning, the b is what we just found in the previous step. That way, we have the equation of the line. So it could be like y equals 3x plus 5. Okay, you have to keep y and x as letters. Do not plug everything in. Okay, so let's take a look at our guy. Step 1. We told you, label your pieces. I need to know an m, I need to know an x, I need to know a y. Well, they told us slope is. Well, that's a fancy way of just saying m. So we know m equals 8. They gave us a point. You know, any ordered pair, the first piece is x. The second piece after the comma is y. So we know x equals 3. Y equals -9. Remember the sign. Have to bring it down. So now that I know my m, my x, and my y, we told you got to remember your formula. Y equals mx plus b. Remember we told you that is your y-intercept, your slope-intercept equation. So we're basically taking these three pieces, plugging them in here so that we can solve for b. Notice I use parentheses. Since I don't know b, but I know everything else, I'm going to plug them in. Y is this guy. Make sure you put them in the right order. M is this guy, the 8. X is this guy, the 3. B, we didn't have the letter B here, okay? A lot of you will say, well, isn't Y and B the same thing? No. B stands for the y-intercept. This doesn't say y-intercept, it says point. So do not say, oh, B is -9. That doesn't work. Only certain ordered pairs can we say the y is the same thing as b. And that's when we have y-intercepts. Since I don't have an intercept, you've got to keep this as the letter b. Now that you have that, let's distribute so that we can solve for the letter b. You know you can put a 1 here. 1 times -9 is -9. 8 times 3 is 24. So all I did was distribute, remember, to simplify, get rid of those parentheses, And then, once I get rid of the parentheses, we know we want b by itself. Variable on one side, constant on the other. This is the only side that has a variable. This 24 is a constant, so move it over. So subtract 24 on both sides. These are additive inverses, so they cancel out. You're left with b. Negative and a negative, you know, two negatives you add, and then see who wins the tug of war. So we're going to get 33, and then 24 players versus 9 players. Team 24 wins, so it's going to be a negative, because 24 is negative, 33. Now that we found what b is, this is technically your y-intercept now. We can use the formula one last time. Y equals mx plus b. But when you use it for the last time, you're only plugging in for the letter m and b. Y and x, when you do this for the last time, has to stay letters. So don't plug in y again as -9. Don't plug in x over here as 3. Keep this and this plugged in. So I'm going to plug in 8, and I'm going to plug in -33. Now your equation looks a little funky because it has parentheses, so if you want to clean it up, remember you can slip in 1s. You get y equals 1 times 8, which is 8x, and then +1 times -3, -33. There's your equation, y equals 8x minus 33. Okay, so remember, you need to know what your m, your x, and y is. And whatever point they give you, just pretend that you have the x and y there, and then the slope will be your m. And they're looking for this as your answer. It has to have an x and a y to be an equation.